Welcome back to Quarterlights. Today is the final part of the Landrover Defender story. We're now into 2007 with a new 2007 Defender. It looks very similar to the old one, but there are some significant changes. Not only is there a new engine, but also, if we look closely, lots of changes around the vehicle. So sit back, grab a cup of tea, let's have a look at this brochure and see what them changes were. So here it is, the all new 2007 brochure. This particular brochure is actually dated 2006. So it doesn't show all the details of this new model. I remember receiving this in January 2007, the vehicle itself not coming until April 2007. But it does show many interesting features of this new model, so we'll have a look at that now. So as we open up the first page and inside cover, we see that new Landrover now. It looks once again like it's in Zambezi silver, although no colour choice options in this production brochure as it's so early. Now, the first real clue that there's any changes at all is this bulge on the bonnet. It's not the most attractive thing I've seen, but it does allow for the accommodation of that new engine. Let's turn a page and see what else we can find. So here we have it. As we often see in these brochures when there is any sort of change, it's showing the heritage of the Land Rover. First we're looking at the Series 1, 1948 to 1958. The Series 1 station wagon, 1954 to 1958. The Series 2 station wagon, 1958 to 1961. The Series 2A station wagon, 1961 to 1972. The Series 3 station wagon, 1972 to 1994. The 90 station wagon, from 1984 to 1990, and finally the Defender, it's showing it's from 1990 to 2006. Of course, this is still a true Defender and it goes on for much time after this date, but because it's showing that this is the new model, it's saying this is a new vehicle, which of course it really isn't. It's very similar to the one previously. And then on this side, it's showing 2007. No other vehicle can claim such a remarkable heritage, which is true, and no other vehicle can claim its position as the most respected. So there it is, showing it as a new vehicle, but still looking like its heritage, going back all the way to 1948. We can now see some of them changes itself on the inside. This is the 110 County Station Wagon, once a 10-seater, changed somewhat, so we've now just got 2 front seats, then 3 good proper seats in the back, which do actually have a split fold in them, and then instead of these side seats, we've got 2 full-size seats which can be stored away. So now we're no longer a 10-seater, we're now at a 7-seater. So that is one of the first major changes on the inside. And then on this side we can see major changes to the interior. Struggle to say it's modern, and some of them plastics are of not the best quality, but certainly a much improved dashboard. Particularly sort of like frog eye vents on there, which sadly have now replaced them lovely opening vents on the outside, which I think is for me personally, a step too far. But of course, air conditioning has now come in, and that really does a better job than them vents at the front that we really associate with a Land Rover. And then here we have it. This is the all new engine that's now been installed. So here we have it. This is now a replacement to the the TD5 engine, and it's replaced with a 4-cylinder 2.4 litre Puma unit. Yes, it's from Ford, in fact straight out of a Ford Transit van, with some moderation and changes. And one significant thing here is the first time Land Rover hasn't developed its own engine. It's just modified somebody else's engine in a way. So that is a big change, and quite a sad one really. I guess this is the start of things to come in a way. It used direct injection and turbocharging to generate 121 brake horsepower and a huge 265 pound-foot of torque. But one of the main reasons why it changed, and one of the reasons why we got the TD5, of course, is the Euro emission regulations, which it had to meet, and the TD5 couldn't do that. The engine, coupled with a revised quieter transfer case and new 6-speed manual gearbox, which allowed a longer top gear for quiet, efficient long-distance cruising. Of course, we never think of a Defender as a long-distance cruising machine, but these improvements did really make it better at that job. The new engine propels the Defender at speeds as high as 85 miles per hour with amazing civility. And the new 6-speed gearbox moves with precision. Now, when we say it's amazingly civilized, obviously we're talking about it's amazingly civilized in Defender standards at least. What did happen later on in 2011 to meet a new Euro standard, this time a Euro 5 regulation? The engine, the same one as here, the engine technology allowed it to downside by 200cc, yet maintain its power and torque output. It was quieter, and when fitted with a diesel particulate filter, emitted less pollutions than any Defender before it. So there we have, that is the new engine that's now installed. So let's have a look at the next page. A page showing that the Defender still has the off-road capabilities. Here we can possibly better see that bulge in the bonnet to take on the new a larger engine, and these are the vents that once used to be what we used to get fresh air. These are now blanked out, unfortunately. Some of the other changes which we don't see in this brochure, it doesn't show many variation pictures of the Defender in this brochure, possibly because it's a sort of like a year before it actually came out. What we saw a new station wagon that didn't actually have windows at the back here for the first time, but the 4 windows round the side, and some of the smaller hardtops even had one of the back windows, I seem to remember, was removed as well to just being a solid metal. Anyway, let's have a look at the next page. And this is basically a page saying, it's showing that it's still an aluminum body and on a steel chassis, and saying it's still a Defender because it's still got a steel chassis. Now, for me, really, this is the last Defender. What came later and just happened to have a Defender badge on it certainly wasn't a Defender, and in fact this brochure is saying if it hasn't got a chassis, it's not a Defender. So make your own conclusions from that, and we'll have a look at the next page. And this picture is basically showing the Defender still being used as a working vehicle. These are blurred out images even on the brochure. If you're wondering, it's not the camera, this is just a blurred out image, as is this. It's kind of like a very arty pictures of the Land Rover at work. And that's all that we have in this particular brochure, being such an early brochure for this particular version. Later on we saw different variations of the Defender and its endless configurations, one of which came in the 2013 Geneva Motor Show, which actually unveiled an electric Defender research vehicle. Inspired in part by the silent electric Defender vehicle tested in 2011, Land Rover built a fleet of 7 Defenders to test the suitability of electric powertrains for use across its range. Obviously, I'm sure that's something they're still working on today. Furthermore, later on, to celebrate the legend, in 2015, Land Rover commissioned the Defender Celebration Series, 3 very different limited edition models, each celebrating a crucial aspect of the Defender's DNA. The heritage, adventure and autobiography editions were revealed. Finally, in 2016, the first Land Rover Defender is retired after a run of more than 30 years. So, would we see this vehicle ever return again? Well, the answer is yes and no. In 2020, there was something that came back with a Defender name. A very good, very functional and a very modern, fashionable vehicle. I struggle to use the name Defender on it, unfortunately. I think it's a very great vehicle. I wish it had picked a different name. To me, it really isn't a Defender and should have never been called a Defender, but that, of course, is just my own view. What do you think? Let me know in the comments section, like and subscribe, and what the next brochure is in the next program. So for now, take care, see you soon, and have a great day.